What's up, everybody? Well, I got another Asus G15 Advantage gameplay video for you guys today. And today, we're checking out Forza Horizon 6, which I've been excited for and have quite been enjoying playing. Even on the weaker stuff, wasn't as enjoyable as playing on like the small form factor PC. Now this should sit somewhere in the middle. We're not going to bother trying like extreme RT or anything like that on it. We'll probably just test out its default. It seems to do a pretty good job of picking out good settings for your system automatically, to be honest. So, we'll just do whatever it defaults to, and then I probably think it'll use upscaling, but we'll probably need some upscaling to get 60 plus, whatever it picks. Unless it defaults to low. I don't think that's quite necessary on such a thing yet. Who knows? But we will know. I just have to wait for it to transfer. I don't have this thing hooked up 24/7 anymore. Just like the Firebat, it kind of just sits on a shelf and lives a pretty cushy life now. But it used to go through hell, being on like 24/7, making videos. I even edited the videos on this for a little while, just so I could play games on my main PC. Well, they just owned its CPU, because I used to just do CPU, and that'd take like 40 minutes sometimes on this thing. Either way, that's neither here nor there. I'm just blabbing, waiting for this thing to transfer, but I shouldn't waste your guys' time. So I'm gonna go shut up, wait for this to transfer, and we'll jump into some settings. So we were having some difficulties with this guy. This was the first system that really gave me issues. I mean, the OLED crashed one time, but they're so under minimum specs. I was surprised it didn't happen more often, to be honest. But no matter what I did, this thing kept crashing back to desktop after this screen. It'd be somewhere between one of these little splash screens, but no matter what I did, it would just crash back to desktop. And I sat here thinking, oh no, what the heck? What's going on? But then it ended up being Afterburner on this particular PC, believe it or not. So, yeah. So, here's all the things I've tried. I tried the reg edit thing that people said where you add this little mode thing. I don't know if I put it in the right spot or not. And who knows, maybe after you change that, you have to restart the whole computer for it to actually matter. But either way, that wasn't the problem anyway. So I'm basically doing this for no reason, but I always try to do what online tells me to do. I'll go research forums, I'll see what AI has to say. Now that pretty much no matter what I ask, I always get a damn AI prompt first. But if it's going to be a simple thing, I'd rather it just tell me that than me sitting there searching through 40 forums, you know, just to find some obscure answer, right? But since I still had Afterburner on, it did nothing. We still had the same problem. I think we might have gotten a slight bit further, to the point where I was like, oh, cool, nope. And then we were on the desktop once more. So then I was like, okay, sometimes Afterburner can fuck with shit. I don't know why it would do that, since we were using it on every other computer prior to this, other than the Steam machines, or Steam Deck and the Lenovo. But still, that seemed to fix it. So I ended up using a different FPS monitoring tool. So sorry if it sucks and it's hard to see and what have you. And this computer barely seemed to be adequate for playing this game at decent settings, so I only did like one or two things. I think I did one setting just without upscaling, and then I think I tried without, like during the camera or something like that. Or with upscaling during the camera and without during the screen. We'll see what I do. But then the other laptop really let me down and started like stuttering like crazy. Well, we got to this point, so I think we're good. So at this point, I think I can probably go ahead, close the game once more, get my actual monitoring software up in the corner, and then we can get to actually playing the game. So, here's the controller. We can load. Just make sure. We're kind of doing this kind of hairy here. Hell, we're already here. We might as well just do the graphics settings now. What did it default to? So we're 1080p. We want to turn that off. We'll put that up to unlocked because we don't want that mucking with stuff. I don't like motion blur. Some people like it in racing games because it makes it seem more realistic. I don't. That's just me. So it wants to default us to ultra. So that's what we'll try. We're not going to try ray tracing because ray tracing sucks on these things. If somebody wants me to later, I sure can. I need to get that mouse out of there. It was preventing me from scrolling. But alright, that is the bottom. Let's go run a bench and then we can go see how this thing does. Well, hell yeah, look at that. We've got 73, which is definitely more than playable. And this is ultra. You could always try dropping down to high. You can turn on some upscaling. I mean, you could do a bunch of stuff. I mean, I don't think I have upscaling on at this point. It's hard to see because of this stupid stat window. I shouldn't have turned the stats on until after this. I forgot how much that one got in the way compared to Afterburner. Anyway, let's jump into the game now.
Okay, Justin, what do you want to do?
To you live on Sub Pop Records Radio.
Well, alright, that's been some camcorder gameplay. I did have to turn it from ultra down to high, just to try to stay over 60. Because it was barely hanging on. Well, I just parked in a parking spot. So that's kind of lame. But that's the lack of that mux switch will do ya. But when you're on such a small screen, it's not a huge difference. There's a difference, but it's not huge. I think most people would rather get like 70, 80 FPS versus like 50, 60, like 55. I think it was even dropped down to 51 if I was moving. And I didn't even go through a run from the city like this. It might even drop into the high 40s if I was doing this. And it might still drop under 60 during a stutter or something. But I think you'll stay at least over 60 like 99% of the time, you know? So, if you use your laptop like a desktop and have it hooked up to an external monitor, you should be fine for Ultra. But if you're on just the laptop itself, you're going to have to deal with high. And then you'll get about the same FPS as Ultra does on an external screen. Isn't that crazy? So in this game, that was like almost 10, 15 FPS difference. Probably more like 11, 12 to be precise. I hope there's not a ghost in my house. But so far, after turning Afterburner off, I haven't had any more crashes. So it was Afterburner the whole time. I thought I was sitting having that hardware acceleration bug. But I don't think so. I get it. Like you saw, I tried launching it without it and it did nothing. We still crashed.
for your road trip.
That's a corner.
Alright, why don't we call in another car? Put the Dark Horse back out. That thing was fun.
Now let's go do a real race. Since we did one screen recorded, let's do one camera recorded too. No, not that. Fast travel? Because it's not like fast traveling takes long. You got a super fast computer going even quicker than this. This thing's still mid-range to almost going to be low end soon. But hey, if the game is decently optimized like this, you can still play and have some fun. Yeah, it's got some hiccups and whatnot, but still more than playable. I'm getting about the same FPS I was getting on, what was it? The small form factor PC, although that one was having like ray tracing and stuff. That's on top of it. Alright, let's start that race. And I win? I don't know. We'll find out. Well, if this guy would stop trying to pit maneuver me, that would be pretty freaking cool.
As a cucumber.
Bastard. I'll prove to you yet I'm the superior Dark Horse, bitch. God, that sounds corny. Say this time I know I went through that bitch. You can't tell me I didn't. Dude, stop like spinning out in front of me and like getting in my way. So then I do it for them. Haha. How dare you go around the corner properly and pass me? I'm trying to have fun and drink. So I hit you. Yeah, I don't think I'm winning this one. We're just going to have to hug that wall a little bit. Yeah, no, that number one guy is absolutely destroyed. Yeah, I guess I'm just not good enough for whatever level I picked on them. I need more practice first. I might have to tone it down. In fact, they're probably going to tell me, oh, dude, you've lost a bunch of races. You suck. Do you want to lower the difficulty? Oh, it wasn't a Dark Horse. It was a freaking, I think that's a Ute from Australia. But now in Japan. Whatever, so it's not like second place is horrible. I hate when people act like third and second are terrible, especially if they're like right there behind them. Now, if I was 12th, yeah, fuck it, I'd have been awful. I did terrible if I did 12th. There's no excuses there. Anyway, though, I think we can adequately call that enough footage, so why don't we wrap up? Well, alright guys, that's a wrap for Forza Horizon 6. And hell, at first I thought I wasn't going to get you guys any footage at all, but I just sat there and troubleshooted for a little. Thought I was having that hardware acceleration bug. Windows made it really lame to turn that off. I don't have a toggle switch anymore. It used to just be a simple toggle switch in the GPU or graphics menu in the Windows, but wasn't there. So I went and tried the registry thing. Don't know if I did it right, but either way, if I did or didn't, it didn't work either way. So then I was like, okay, well, some games hate MSI Afterburner, even though we've had it on like 6 or 7 computers already. That ends up being it. Turned that off, just used FPS monitor instead, and lo and behold, we were able to get some footage. Now, unfortunately, when you have it hooked up to a external monitor, it gets quite a bit better performance. You can have it on ultra and get like 70, 80 FPS. With some dips still into the high 60s, and with a stutter here and there, I'm sure it'll drop under 60. But you're almost always well over. So to get the same performance though, just on the screen itself, you have to drop it down to high. So that's kind of lame. Luckily though, on a little 15-inch screen, there's hardly a difference. So you're not missing out on too much, it's just lame to have to do that. I mean, so if you're using it like a desktop at home, you're great. If you're not, you're gonna have to tone some stuff down. Either way, still more than adequate. And I'm glad I was able to actually play. Lots of people wanted me to test on here. I was gonna get pretty pissed if the one thing most people asked for, I couldn't do. So either way, I call that a win. If you guys would like me to go through even more settings, I absolutely can do that now that I know it actually works, but it was getting pretty late, so I figured I better amp spray and get done with at least the Alienware, get done with the laptops tonight before it gets too late, because I still have to download it and everything too. Either way, that's all for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, because I sure as hell enjoyed making it for you guys. And I'd peace out with that hand, and I'm sure you'd get what I was going for. But with that pinky, until I can at least do it better if I ever can, we'll just keep it doing left-handed peace out. And until the next video.